September 5th, 2013. Guys, this is an update on Bayou Corne, the sinkhole there. Remember in the video I showed you about a week ago, I think, this close-up of this 3D, this is underground sonar and radar imaging. And at the bottom of the cavern that they have dug out, brined out, to store chemicals in, I showed you where in this image that it was leaking there. Now, also I pointed out that the view is looking north with no vertical exaggeration. Now you've got graphics in here. There's a sinkhole at the top that's 1,000 foot across right there. Now this is again looking north. If they were to turn it east or west, you would see the edge of this cavern has busted through this sinkhole. Now this water has run down through here, is leaking all the way up to 10,000 feet, and up through that leak and this the dissolving away of this side of the salt dome. Now they're detecting butane levels there, and when they were supposed to be trying to pump some of that butane out. That's bad enough, guys, but here's what they've been lying about it, and they were caught doing this a few years ago in Louisiana in another place. Cost them millions of dollars to clean it up. But guys, the reports are saying that a veteran radiation expert says Louisiana's environmental officials are in denial over the hazard posed by elevated radium levels discovered in the slurry liquids of the massive sinkhole that has forced out residents of the rural town of Bayou Corne. Pull this up. In all those pictures you see of that 1,000-foot sinkhole, that's it. Now, remember they ran the cable down 750 foot, couldn't touch bottom. This starts at 1,000 foot. The purple line is a shallow aquifer for your backyard wells. This is the deep aquifer that runs through the southeast. Both are contaminated now with radon, butane, oil, but it's saying that they confirmed earlier reports that the radium levels at the site 70 miles west of New Orleans are not within limits as reported, but 15 times higher than the acceptable level by the state. Guys, it puts a whole new crease in this game, because at first we noted that at 500 feet they had detected the strong smell of oil. Now the butane is leaking out, and there was supposed to be a massive amount of that stored there. You can see again on the bottom of this video, this image, where this is occurring. And again, if we had all the 3Ds that they took, and we could turn this sideways, you would see what I'm talking about. But it says the consultant's recommendations come 2 days after this blog first reported the analysis of the Department of Environmental Quality test results from Bayou Corne, posted earlier this week by the Louisiana Environmental Action Network, revealed not only elevated radium levels but also airborne chemicals associated with highly volatile butane stored in the cavern near the sinkhole. The sinkhole is now more than a football field across. Guys, it's 3 football fields across. Just to get that straight, it's 1,000 feet, not 300. It says filled with liquid slurry is blamed on the failure of the salt cavern near Bayou Corne that has been operated by Texas Brine. It says although company officials informed the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources in 2011, they were still telling the residents there that everything was fine back then, and the residents were complaining their houses were shaking, strong smell of gas. Guys, and then they've been dealing with it for a long time. They've been out of their homes for a year, but now it's gone past Bayou Corne, and it had really gone past it way before. It's just the petrochemical pollution going into the aquifer and down through the bayous to Morgan City and into the Gulf. Now, here's what they're finding is, and you need to Google this, and I'll do a report tomorrow to get the exact information on it, but radium-226 and radium-228. It says they are 15 times higher than the state's own standard. Says, once again, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality is in denial, but they don't want to do what they do not know what to do with the radioactive contamination in the bayou. That's why Jindal's not been down there, guys. That's why they've tried to keep this down, because they know what they've got there, and there's no way to, I think, that they could get that nuclear waste out of there, or did not want to admit. Again, there was a case in Louisiana a few years ago when they just denied it, and people were getting sick and everything. But it says the release could reach the usable aquifer and contaminate drinking water along with livestock and irrigated crops. The DEQ must sample groundwater to assess any transport. Airborne particulate might become entrained and cause contamination to be inhaled by the public. Radon gas emanating from the radium could be inhaled by members of the public. It says they talking about they need to monitor this airborne radium. But it's a heads up on this, guys. Now that I'm aware of this, we're going to dig through it. And some of the other folks on YouTube, Cajun Miracle, she's got an update on this too on her channel. But we'll put a link to the report. Heads up.